Got it. Yeah, I mean, even like adding that top of something like Neuralink, that's fastly growing, and people are talking about there's just going to be this divide of superhumans that have knowledge at top of their fingertips, where they have ultimate brain power and knowledge versus regular humans, and it's going to be similar to the way we see humans versus like chimpanzees these days, and just the rate of that increasing.
Yeah, you're reading too much science fiction, I think.
I hope so, because that's scary stuff, man. Like,
the history of connecting sort of electronics to the human body, that's been the best solutions historically have been just simple mechanical solutions, right? So what's a good example there? Okay, so when jets started getting really fast, fighter jets, and they had to do a high G turn out of a situation, that high G turn would pull blood from their brains down into their lower extremities. And this is bad. You don't want that to happen. So they said, well, let's devise a pill where your brain doesn't have to consume as much oxygen and yet still function as it needs to, because it's an oxygen deprivation at that point. And so biologists were coming up with a solution, and then engineers said, let's just give them a pressure suit where it feels the high Gs, it squeezes their legs, preventing blood from ever getting there in the first place, and therefore doesn't leave your brain. And that's what they use today. And it's simple, and we don't have to change your body chemistry to make it happen. Okay. So I suspect that this Neuralink, where you're saying, let me connect my brain neurologically to the internet, is that really much better than me pulling out my smartphone and typing? I guess it's faster. Okay, so you'll do it in a matter of seconds, and I'll take me 20 seconds. You'll do it in 3 seconds. I have the 17 seconds. I could do that without USB plugging this into the base of my neck. So I don't see, and because I don't see it, I don't fear that future. Even though many people who are quite expert on this see that as inevitable. And of course, you're referring to the singularity.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't believe in that. You don't believe.
I'm not convinced. It's not belief. It's just, I'm not convinced that that's the direction it will go.
Huh. I mean, the Elon Musk's theory is that we're technically already cyborgs, meaning that if someone loses their phone, this feels like they just lost their right arm, and we're always already attached. And I guess VR is kind of the next step.
But we're not biologically attached. We might be emotionally attached, but it's an object you pick up that does the work for you. Are you going to say, come under the scalpel and I want to inject this into your brain stem? I say, no, thank you. I'm keeping the smartphone.
Got it. Even like our grandchildren, you don't feel they're going to be adopting this where they just don't know.
Just because something is possible doesn't mean it will happen in that way. That's my only point. Yeah. What is the motivation for that? Okay, I'll give another example that people just get wrong. You go back in time, where how people imagined the future, and they imagined there'd be robots in every home. Okay, go back to the Jetsons. There's the maid. The robot is wearing a maid skirt, which I always thought weird. And the maid looks like a portly maid, all right? So why? What's going on? What's the maid doing? The maid is pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Right? The maid is pushing buttons in the washing machine and pushing buttons in the kitchen. Well, do you even need buttons? If you don't need buttons, then you don't need the maid to push the buttons. So do I need a robot that gets in my car and drives my car, or is the car itself a robot? So I see the future of this as tasks and needs will be fulfilled by robots, as they are so much today. And to say, let's get the one super robot that does everything better than every other robot, who's going to do that? How do you even do that? Is that robot going to make coffee as good as my programmed coffee maker? I don't think so. Is that same robot now going to drive my car? How's it going to do that? So the practicality of it is all I'm addressing here.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't ever or couldn't happen, but will it? And I'm not as convinced as others.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked into the Tesla robots, but I guess they're starting off with just more basic tasks like grading groceries, where like you don't really need creativity.
We already have robot. We have a robot that beat us at chess, at Go, at excuse me, they're computers that are seated. Fine. They're still doing things that we previously did, but they do it better than us. They're all the Hubble telescope is a robot. There's nobody up there turning knobs. And there are modes that go into auto. I mean, it's all of these machines are robots. And if you had told someone 70 years ago how infused automated robotic phenomena are in our lives, they'd say, wow, that's amazing. I guess the robots are all intelligent now. And we have to say, well, no, even though it beat me at chess and at Go and at Jeopardy, and it can solve a Rubik's Cube in 4 seconds, no, it's still not smarter than I am. Of course it's smarter. It's smarter in any way that matters, that it was programmed to be smarter.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep shifting the goalpost about how you're going to describe AI, then that's evidence that we're living with it and it's not getting to where you think it is. It's going to be where we're all going to die.
What was like the first coin popularization of AI? Like, what was the first AI that was properly, recognized as?
Well, this is the Turing test. So when I was in college, as old as I am, I took a computer science class, which was new at the time. There were no computer science departments. This was a class offered in the applied math department. And people are saying, what, you want to take a class on computers? Computers is a machine, all right? That's like taking a class, a college class on what? On coffee makers, right?
Yeah.
So it was
philosophy.
No, there's a lot of sort of resistance to it, but people in the know knew that this was the future. All right, that's where I learned about the Turing test, and we interacted with a program called LIZA, Liza, I think it was named.
Okay.
And it's a program that parses your speech in ways that a psychologist might. Okay? And so ask me any question. First acknowledge me and then ask me a question. And my name is Eliza. Go.
What did you eat for breakfast?
I don't have to eat breakfast. I'm a computer. What did you eat for breakfast? Okay, so Eliza's smart enough to take your sentence and put it back to you. Okay? And putting it back to you, now you say, well, I had eggs and bagels and whatever. And so, oh, that's good. That's a healthy breakfast because it can calculate calories and nutrition and all the like. And then you'll say, I'm sad. And Eliza would say, tell me more. And you say, well, I was just at home. And what's your relationship with your parents or with your mother, right? And so there's a catalog of responses. And the point is, if I didn't tell you it was a computer, you would not know at the time. This is how old I am, 1970s. At the time, you would have no idea it was a computer because it had good enough language skills to come back to you with questions, and it just sounded like an interesting friend, a new friend you just met. Okay.
Did it have like the Siri voice, like the robotic, like, hi, I am Liza.
This is before computers had voices.
Okay. Oh, you're saying this is text. This is all text.
Of course it's text. Okay. This is all.
I'm spoiled by this new advanced technology.
Yes, this is all text. Excuse me, I should have made this clear. It's text printed on a monitor. Okay. And before that, it was on a readout, a teletype. Okay. Because that's how old I am. Point is, at the time, you would have said, wow, this is true artificial intelligence. I don't even know that this person isn't human. And nowadays we look back and see how quaint that experiment was. But if you told them, in the future, AI will beat us at chess and go and drive better than us and more safely and do all of these things, and it won't even involve a robot that you think we're going to have to live with, they'll say, wow, might that be the end of the world if humans are no longer in charge of everything? I could say we have these computers controlling our nuclear power plants. Whoa. We have computers guiding missiles. Whoa. So I don't fear it. I think we will apply it to our actual needs, and beyond that, we move on.